we were being nice to each other.
Good night, class.
Good night.
All right. So, to start off class, I want to know, by show of hands, is anybody in here a smoker? Nobody?
I totally see you outside smoking.
Okay. So nobody's a smoker. I just want to take time to see how everybody's individually feels about smoking. So, does anybody have something they want to share about their personal feelings about smoking or smokers or anything like that? Maddie?
Smoke makes my throat hurt a lot. So when I walk by someone who's smoking, I try not to breathe around that area because I don't want to inhale it. Also, I have a lot of family members that smoke, and it's really difficult to riding in a car with them or something because the smell is so strong.
So basically,
I don't like it.
the secondhand smoke hurts you, and you don't like the smell of it, and you find it to be really, really strong, and it bothers you. Okay. Anybody have anything that they want to say?
It's going to be real sad, but I personally stay away from smoking because my grandmother on my dad's side died of lung cancer because she smoked too much.
And that can be, one of the things that they say that it correlates to cancer and other problems, disease that can cause you to die at a younger age than normal. Eileen, you have anything to add?
Kind of random. Growing up, I went to this Native American spiritual kind of center, and a lot of them smoked. Or if they didn't smoke, we would use American Spirit tobacco for spirit things like prayer ties and prayer ropes. And then after the dance, we would throw them in the fire. So American Spirit is kind of like a memory for me, but regular smoking, I don't like it, but American Spirit is kind of attached to my childhood. It's kind of weird, but that's...
So you kind of have mixed opinions.
Yeah.
You don't just casual smoking for no reason, but at the same time for a traditional use for some sort of ceremony, you kind of like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's more of the usage and also the personal part of it. If it's their choice, if they want to do that, it's not my choice, so it's kind of...
Okay, good. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to hand out a pretest for you. I want you to complete it. Leave it on this side. Don't turn it over. Okay? I want you to keep the pretest side up. Fill it out. Just take a couple minutes to do it. And it's just going to kind of, give us a baseline figure of kind of your disposition towards smoking and smokers. Just to kind of let us know where you stand. When you get done answering all the questions, if you read underneath, it tells you how to score it. I see, Eileen, you've already done it. But go ahead and score your pretest. All done now? Okay, so let me see. What was everybody's score? Noah, what was your score?
I had a 7.
You had a 7. Eileen?
4.
Maddie?
5.
Okay. So let's take the 4 and the 5, and you two go together. Okay? Noah, you're the 7. You're going to be by yourself. If you need any help or anything, just ask me. I'll come over there, maybe work with you a little bit, see what I can do to help you.
Cool.
Okay, so right now, I'm going to give each of you a little short paper about smokers, and it might be something that you hadn't thought of. I want you to take time to read it, and I want you to take the time to find maybe something in there that you might use. You two with the low scores are going to defend the disposition that smoking is bad smokers are wrong, they shouldn't be doing it. Just in general, smoking is not a good thing, okay? Noah, you're going to be defending smokers, okay? So find something in there that you all can use to help your argument. We're going to take about 3 minutes to do that.
Mr. Rankin,
Yes, sir.
can we use personal experiences to support our argument?
Absolutely. If you want to use personal experience and couple that with anything that you read there, whatever you want to do to support your argument, just really try to have some sort of evidence that supports what you say when we get ready to discuss this in a minute. About a minute and a half left. Start piecing together, your thoughts, your arguments, what you're going to use. Oh, absolutely. You two are together. You two are a group.
Not much of it will be pulled from the article, if that's okay.
Okay. Now what I want you to do, turn and face each other. For the next few minutes, I want both sides to discuss why either they think smoking is bad and smokers are bad, or that they shouldn't smoke. And the other side to then discuss why they think, maybe not smoking is a good thing, but that we should have a little bit more understanding of smokers. Okay? So let's take a few minutes to do that.
I'll let Joel go first.
Okay, so we talked a lot about how smoking, like they talked about in the article, it being a reliever of stress. And first of all, there are a lot of other ways you can relieve stress, and smoking is just, we don't think that it's a good thing to do because you're just adding harm to your body. It's not like a psychological or mental harm, but physically, like it talks about in the article, it keeps them from suffering from a stress-related disease. So it's kind of like exchanging a stress-related disease for something a lot more serious like cancer. And not all smokers eventually die from cancer, like lung cancer, things like that, but it's a definite possibility. So I think with that argument is kind of wishy-washy. Also, it's just why did you want to talk about it together?
Oh, it's just like kind of like a quick response to a bigger bigger problem, like it's putting on a Band-Aid on a bigger wound, because like if they have a stress-related issue, it's just like, oh, can I get like the quick fix instead of actually getting to the root of the problem. Also with like the harm of it, if you've ever seen like the commercials that they have now where people have like lost limbs because of it, they have to have like their larynx removed and have to speak through a hole and like a speech valve and stuff like that because of smoking. And there's like the immediate and then there's long-term effects of smoking, and also it's not very cost effective as well because it's very expensive. It's a very expensive habit to keep up because they get more and more addicted and they build up a tolerance. So because of that, they have to smoke more and more to get the same effect of like relieving that stress, and it just keeps on building and building until they're smoking like 2 packs a day plus just to get the same endorphins and whatnot to relieve that stress. And so it's a Band-Aid, and it's not very helpful, and it's harmful for them as well as the people around them.
Yeah, so can't smoke is definitely a major contributor.
I know it's like the stress of it is difficult to cope with, but what if they don't have the opportunity to fix that underlying problem? And so they have to just go with what's happening. Like, let's say it's a situation at work, and it's just the way the job is, and there's nothing they can change about it. And so they're reduced with so much stress. My boss at Kroger, he actually was a pretty heavy smoker, and it's because his job was such high stress, and that's just the way it was. There wasn't anything he could do to change or fix it. And so he did that as a coping mechanism. And then just here at Maryville, I have a lot of different friends who are former members of the U.S. military, and they have to do that in order to cope with some of the effects of their PTSD. And it helps them to stay calm and not as jumpy in class because they have to sit still for so long. And a lot of these guys that I've met, they're actually really considerate of others. So, like, I would go up and talk to one of my buddies, Dave, and he would be smoking, but he would always make sure to stand downwind from me, make sure that none of the smoke was going in my face, and there's a lot of different considerations that he took to make sure that it wasn't bothering me personally, because he knew that I didn't smoke and that it affects my lungs. So I feel like if that's the way they're having to cope with it, because maybe there's not an alternative way to cope with their stress. So, like, what are some of the ways that you were saying that could help relieve stress? Like alternatives.
Alternatives?
Yeah, alternatives.
Well, one way my mom always is telling me is exercise, like to go run or to get the same endorphins and whatnot. It really depends on the person of how they relieve stress. Either like I know one friend who kind of relieves stress by actually talking to a professional, and like because she used to smoke a little bit because of stress and also recreational, like with tobacco. And she actually she used to do a freshman year a little bit, and now she's completely stopped doing that because she's actually talking about like what's going on in her life in a very proactive and healthy manner, and it's helping her deal with all that underlying stuff. And to address the thing like you said about the job, like I know it's different. It's lifestyle choice for different people, and depending on their socioeconomic status or PTSD, it depends. But PTSD, thank you. That it depends on each person, but there's a lot of different ways that they can figure out and personalize it for themselves instead of resorting to smoking.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
let's
Hate to cut you guys off, but
let's have a good point.
swap. Defend them. And just talk about why it's wrong. Talk about why it's wrong. Go ahead. Go ahead and get at it. Got about 2 minutes. Let's see it.
Talking at it?
Yep. Talk it out.
Well, I think, like what you were saying, like, yeah, there are a lot of different ways to relieve stress, but for a lot of people, like, for some reason, when I think about relieving stress, I think about, like, coloring, because I think a lot of people are starting to do that now. It's just kind of a more subtle way, I guess. Like, you just, like, think about what you used to be coloring, and that's, like, how they're relieving their stress by just doing something other than what's stressing them out. But, smoking is, I guess, one of the that's the best way that they can deal with whatever's going on in their life.
Because maybe they have an 8-hour shift, and there's no other way that they can cope with the stress while they're at work, so that's not work. And I know I have to say that something's bad, but that was the point I was going to make. I was going to break it.
Okay. So, I want you all to come together. I want you all to come together for 2 minutes. Work together, decide what your stance is as a group. And then in 2 minutes, I'll have you talk about it. And I might ask you some questions about it. I might have you all, kind of defend your stance and ask you some questions to try to make you think different ways. So go ahead and get together. Spend 2 minutes figuring out what your stance is.
Okay, so it's bad. It has their pros and cons to it. So it's a way to relieve stress, and maybe a way that they don't have any other access to. But there's a lot of health complications.
Okay, this is what I think it is too. Like, people are just too sensitive. Like I think it goes beyond how it makes you feel. It's horribly bad for you. Like how they're starting to make all these commercials about like the first time that you smoke a cigarette, you have just signed away a part of your life. Like you're forever going to be dependent on that cigarette. So that is just something that I don't think anybody should even start, because who wants to have to leave a room just because they cannot not smoke. Like I think that's just a terrible thing to have to the rest of your life is going to be so dependent on this one little thing. They just can't get over it. And once you start, it's really, really hard to stop. So I think just keeping away from it is just going to be such a better thing for the person, health-wise. It changes who you are. I think that as far as the stress level goes, there are so many other things. Like Eileen was telling you about her friend that uses the other outlet for relieving stress. It's proven to be a lot more effective for her, rather than just the quick fix that the cigarettes used to be. So
I do agree that it's really bad for your health, and I personally would not smoke. But I feel like for some, their situation, it's kind of necessary, especially with
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but this is just discussion right now.
Oh, no, yeah, that's right now we're kind of in the middle, so that's what I was asking.
So, what's the decision? Where's your stance?
Do you think smoking is bad?
Smoking is bad. Okay, why? Why is smoking bad?
Because of the detriment it can cause to your health. That's the primary reason. Also, as Maggie was saying, smoking addresses the symptoms and not the issue, the cause of the stress.
Okay. So, smoking is bad for your health, and it doesn't address the cause, just addresses symptoms.
Right.
So let's take the first one. It's bad for your health. Is smoking bad for your health? Or does it just decrease the length of what your life will be? Because when you think of better,
neither of those sound good.
when you think of better, is your life easier? Is your life more enriching for you personally when you smoke? If you smoke and it relieves stress, or you smoke and it makes your day easier, or you smoke and it makes it to where you can be a more efficient person during your day, even if it's only for 60 years instead of 80 years, did it make your life worse? Or was your life just shorter but better? That's one thing you can think about. Another thing you can think about is, you talk about that there's other avenues for stress. I think you mentioned running.
Yeah, working out.
If I'm at work and I'm stressed, can I go jog a mile? I can't, can I? But I can step outside for 5 minutes and smoke a cigarette. Right? I could call my mom. But is that really going to relieve my stress necessarily? If there's something chemically wrong with me, is talking to my mom going to relieve stress? It can if it's chemicals that relieve stress. So, my question to you is smoking wrong, and are people wrong for smoking? Or are they just people who deserve our attention just as much as people on other drugs who we spend time putting through rehab, who we walk alongside and help bring them back and work with them on their stress issues. Is there any difference between smokers who we kind of just, that's bad, and someone who struggles with other drugs?
Are you asking to tell you or talk to each other?
Tell me.
Can I have one side note?
Yes.
At least what I've been seeing, well, maybe not recently, but one thing, actually, overall, the studies have been showing that in our generation it's been decreasing of smokers. Might be increasing another type of smoking, but like least tobacco is declining. So like there is that, but because like it's kind of like fallen out of favor for other recreational drugs. Just random fact. I just want to say that.
And as far as that goes, which would, if we want to talk about, would you rather your best friend smoke a cigarette or shoot up with heroin?
Not the heroin.
I would definitely say cigarettes because heroin will mess you
It's
up.
more likely the marijuana.
All right. So now I want you to flip over the pretest. You will see a post test that is near, I think it might be identical. Please complete your post test and score yourself. Look at your scores. I think yours is a +3. Look at your scores. How many people went up in score? Okay, so that would mean, or it would assume that your disposition towards smokers improved. You think better of them now than when you first started.
Yeah, because I thought of a lot of different experiences I had. So
And those kind of thoughts and the discussion that brought up those thoughts kind of shifted your position a little bit? Kind of the same thing with you?
A little bit. There was one that I strongly agreed, and then I finally just kind of the 4 and 5 went down, and then 3 went in the middle.
Okay. So you kind of had like a small shift.
A little bit of a shift.
Okay. Maddie, did yours went down, right? Your score went down?
Yeah.
Okay, so you started off, I think, already thinking smoking was bad, and now you think you have a stronger feeling toward that.
Yeah.
Okay, why do you think that was?
I guess it's just my stubbornness. I don't know, just like experiences with my own family. Like, yes, they rely on smoking, but they don't like that.
Okay.
Like it's like for my aunt who has a hard time paying her bills but can't get away from smoking and keeps going to buy cartons of cigarettes. That's like a really bad part of her life that she wishes that nobody really knew about. So those kind of experiences with my family members, just like I just wish it didn't exist. So
Okay, that's understandable. All right, so I'm going to collect the pre and post tests, and I think you all did a great job discussing today.